welcome back to another episode of Remembering Forgotten Memories. This is one of those stories where I'm like, I feel like I've probably somewhere at some point included at least some amount of this story in something on this channel, but I don't know where, and I went back through the series and it wasn't one of these, so I'm giving it its own video. So I've often joked pretty much my whole life that I was just born an old person. I was like fascinated with like the Oregon Trail era, Little House on the Prairie, all that kind of stuff, and like specifically with the type of crafts that people did back then. And like as a little kid, I fantasized about learning to like quilt and sew and knit, and it's just like, you're like 6, calm down, but at the same time it's like, man, if little me could know that she grew up to learn the grand majority of all of these, like, old-timey crafts that she wanted to as a little kid, she would be so freaking happy. I'm just saying. There's still a few that I've not learned yet, but grand majority of them, yes. Like, I still haven't attempted candle making yet, or soap making, but I still haven't learned to sew on a machine properly, which is what brings us to today's storytime video, but grand bulk of the others pretty much have done all of them, so here we are. So I wanted to learn to sew more than anything, and both of my grandmas could sew like crazy. My one grandma on my dad's side pretty much always made her entire wardrobes like hand-tailored by herself, hand-sewn, whole thing, and always was one of those things where she did it so well that people were always asking where she got stuff. Oh my god, can you make one for me? That kind of thing. My other grandma just pretty much made her entire kids' wardrobes that way, and like their Halloween costumes, etc., etc. So between the two, I figured at least one of them should be able to do it, right? Now, the one on my mom's side got carpal tunnel and all sorts of problems with her hands, so she got pretty limited early on to where she couldn't do it. But my other grandma, who ironically was old enough to be the other Nana's mom, it was an interesting dynamic with the ages in my family, but anyway, so she, being as well versed in it as she was, seemed like the perfect person to go to. And I will give the spoiler by saying I still don't know how to machine sew to this day. I still don't. I still want to, but the story leads to a bit of trauma, so it's why I still haven't, but even though I have a machine, I've never been brave enough to even attempt to look up tutorials for how to do it, because it's just like, god. But, so what we did first, she brought me to, I think it was, I forget if it was, like, the local fabric store that used to be here that isn't anymore, or if it was Joann's, because I know at least one was Joann's. It was the first time I'd ever been there, and God only knew, like, that this was going to start off a lifelong love affair with that store. Like, my god. But, had no idea in that moment just what was being unleashed. I was well versed in Michael's before that, but, had not yet been introduced to Joann's till that point. So anyway, went in there, went through tons upon tons upon tons of patterns looking for something that A, I wanted to make, but B, she also thought was easy enough to teach me how to make. So she figured something easy enough to start with would just be like a basic shirt. Just find a very simplistic basic shirt, pick that style out, and then we'll go pick out fabric for it. It could be whatever color fabric you want it to be, but let's pick this first. So I sat there for hours and hours and hours, flipping through these patterns, trying to find something that 15-year-old me didn't think looked completely dorky, but at the same time looked easy enough for me to make, because at that age, oh my god, like, I was very into, like, the mod fashions and everything, so those weren't exactly, like, the easiest designs. A lot of them had lots of buttons and stuff. She was like, okay, rule number 1 for first one, no buttons. We're just doing one solid piece. Okay, so basically a t-shirt? I don't want to do a t-shirt. No, it doesn't have to be a t-shirt, but you know what I mean. So fine. Eventually found one. And it was just like a basic short sleeve shirt, scoop neck, everything. Basic enough then went to go look at fabrics. I knew going in I want blue. My favorite color is blue, still is. But didn't know the shade till I was flipping through, la 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 la, and stumbled upon this absolutely gorgeous light blue, not entirely different from what I have on, like slightly darker than this, slightly lighter than sky blue, whatever you would qualify that color as. I just like, that one. I want that one. And little did I know just how prophetic it was that I chose that specific shade. And I wouldn't find out until we got back to her house and later that night that she was like helping me, had all laid out and everything. We're like tracing out like the pattern pieces onto the fabric to get ready to cut out and pin and all that stuff. And as we're doing that, my grandpa walks in, takes one look at it and goes, "Oh look, it's Bunny Blue." And I was like, the hell is Bunny Blue? And then my grandma explained this whole story of how Grandpa's nickname for her had always been Bunny, and still was, and I'm actually going to include a photo from one of her photo albums towards the end of this video, right before the credits, so you can see in her own handwriting, I am not making this up, that was actually her nickname, Honey and Bunny, but she at least gave him his name in captions of photos usually, but she loved going by that nickname, and this was like a whole thing that went into other stuff that maybe those will be their own storytime videos too, I don't know, because there's some cute stuff with that, but I was just like, that's adorable, aww, and she's like, yeah, but why blue though? And that's when she told me, or no, she's not the one that said it, my grandpa's like, oh, because that was the color of her wedding dress. What? My grandma, prim and proper, got married in a color other than white? In the 40s? What? And she's like, is it not what you're thinking? And I was like, it's not. She's like, no. We were both proud wedding night virgins, thank you. But I was following him from station to station because it was while he was still in the war and everything, from airbase to airbase. And it was like once a month, like the local, I guess, I don't know if it was pastor or priest or whatever, would come around to the air bases. And they would do whatever marriages for people that wanted to get married that day, who were ready to just pull the trigger on it right then and there, would do a whole ton of weddings that day. So finding out that he was going to be there the following day, asked my grandma on the spot, you want to get married? She's like, yeah. But then had the panic of, I don't even have a dress. So like she just went to try to find like any fabric she could use to like quickly whip up a wedding dress for herself out of, and could not find white fabric anywhere available in that area that she could access. The closest she could find was this really beautiful light blue that also apparently happened to be the same color as that top that we made. And I had no idea when I picked that color out. I swear to God, I had no idea about any of this. I just liked the color. And she figured it was the closest thing to white that she could get a hold of. And in photos, you wouldn't be able to tell, because there were black and white photos back then. You couldn't tell that it wasn't white. It looked white in the photo. So for all anybody knew, she got married in white. But they knew that it was blue. And apparently because of that, it became a thing. Like through their marriage, that specific shade of blue became Bunny Blue. And I'm like, that's so cute. It literally made me cry. I still well up remembering. I'm like, that is so sweet. Oh my God. The fact that there is now a brand of ice cream called Blue Bunny, I'm just like, aw, I don't know if that started while they were still alive or not, but I kind of like really hope it was, and that they knew of it at least, because I feel like they should have been aware that, hey, look at this. But anyway, yeah, I swear I had no idea about any of that when I picked out that color, but I was just like, that's so cool, and I just somehow like psychically tapped into that and gravitated to that color. And she did not sway my hand towards it or anything at all. Actually, she was trying her damnedest to get me to pick red or pink or something like that, but I was still in my, I hate red, I hate pink phase. You would never know it now, but like, at that age, I had beef with pink. And red too, because it was my sister's color. Kids are stupid, okay? Like, I especially was a stupid kid who just, I don't know why we were so hung up on that. Blue is mine, red is hers. We do not mix that. This is so stupid. But again, not the point. So I did that. And while the whole point was to teach me how to sew, I ended up hand sewing that shirt. We never touched the machine for it. But what we did do was some of the scraps of fabric that were left over from the shirt, she tried to teach me little bits with the machine of like how much pressure to use with the pedal for different speeds and how to change the things for different stitches on the machine, put it through, see what they do and stuff, you know, stuff like that. Try to like learn to like follow a straight line on it and stuff, which is easier said than done when you have naturally shaky hands, but it's what it is. You do the best you can. But that was that for that one. The shirt itself was hand sewn. So, okay. So that was cool, and I enjoyed that. I don't know if I still have that shirt or not, which makes me sad. I hope I do, but even if I do, it probably doesn't fit anymore. I was a lot smaller in high school than I am at almost 40, which I think is true of pretty much anybody, but regardless. So that was fun, but how about we, like, make something that I could do on the machine? So, okay. We go back to the fabric store. I decide this time, not only do I want to make something on the machine, I want something a little more complex than just a shirt. I want a dress with a matching jacket. And what I wasn't telling her in that moment was that I was like mentally trying to find something that looked like the outfit Maureen Starkey got married to Ringo wearing, and I found fabric that pretty damn close matched what she wore that day. So, yeah, it was pink, but I was able to overlook it because of the link to Ringo. Anyway, so fine. Find that easily enough. Bring it home. We do the whole thing again, like tracing out all the shapes from the patterns, cutting them out, getting everything ready to go, right? However, what she did not tell me that she meant well when she did this, she really did. She was trying to be like the most awesome grandma ever. Behind my back, she had gone also to Joann's on a different day, unbeknownst to me, and bought like the most top of the line, newest sewing machine possible. Like cutting edge, figured what like a great gift to get somebody started into something like this with, rather than like her very old one she'd been using for decades and decades, and sure, it still worked perfectly fine, but I mean, let's get something up to date for me, is how she viewed it. Unfortunately for me, this thing was very, very overpowered compared to the one she had been using. And even her, like, trying to get, like, a hang on just how much pressure and everything versus, like, boom, like the fabric going through it. It was like, oh, shit, this, may have been a mistake, but she also figured, okay, if I could, like, get a hang of how to do it at that speed, think how fast I'll be able to whip through making stuff. It'll be awesome. Yeah, maybe if I had had, like, the background of being well-skilled on the other kind first that were just, like, normal speed and everything, but this one was, like, so hair-trigger with, like, with the pedal on it and just everything. I still have a scar to this day on this knuckle. Because literally, like, within seconds of my even trying it, fabric not only zipped through, so did my hand with it. And this little bit of skin here got under the needle and sewn to the fucking fabric. When I tell you how painful that freaking was to get back out and unstuck from that machine, and meanwhile I'm bleeding, I'm screaming, crying, like it's not pretty. Just like, what the fuck? What the actual hell? How the hell are you supposed to do this and not die? Just, needless to say, after that, kind of too terrified to try again. And she's just like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. Yeah, even last night, I was trying on this thing and it is really overpowered. I should just bring it back. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean for you to get hurt on it. We never did end up finishing that dress. Because I was so traumatized by that, I never came back to it. I just never did. It's like, nope, nope, it's not that important. It's not that important. I don't want to do this anymore. Oh my god. Oh my god. And in hindsight, that's very unfortunate. We should have just gone back to the machine she used for everything and just used that. Because I probably could have managed on that, which is what tells me that I really should, like, pull out the one that my mom gave me that was hers, but she literally never uses, and try that one, because even my dad can manage using that one. Yeah, no jokes, my dad knows how to use a sewing machine, okay? It's a life skill. So, anyway. There's so much trauma from that incident that I've never been able to will myself to try it again. Even though, on some level, I want to. But every time that, like, I think, okay, today's gonna be the day I do the thing, I have everything set up, I sit down to do it, and then I panic attack out every time. I'm like, I can't fucking do it, oh my god, I'm not doing this, nope. Even just talking it through right now, I am sweating right now, thinking about it, like, it's just like, I don't think it's for me. I don't know that it's for me. I want it to be for me, but I don't know about that one. I'm scared to death of it, so anything that I've ever sewed has been hand sewed. And if you know how long that takes, trying to do an entire piece that way, oh my god, it's not worth it. So this is why I'm like, I really should learn one of these days how to just do it and, like, suck up the phobia and just hope and pray I don't F up, but on the other hand, if I do, I am so screwed, because I don't have somebody looking over my shoulder who can free me from it if it should happen again, but yeah, it's a whole ass thing, but yep, it was very short-lived trying to learn to sew, because that is as far as I got. And it was going so swimmingly, and was such a positive experience on the first piece that for it to go so deeply awry by the second one, it's just like, how did this go? Oh god, why? Why is this my luck, like, always? Like, if it can go wrong, it goes wrong. Just story of my life. But anyway, I will include those photos right at the end of this video, so even after my sign-off, stick around so you can see those pop in right at the end. So anyway, you guys know what to do. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a like. If you're not already and you'd like to be, click subscribe, hit that notification bell icon so you never miss an upload, leave comments down below. Make sure you're following my social media accounts, my Facebook fan page, my Twitter, my Instagram, my eBay, my Reddits, everything and more, it's all down below. And if you like what I do here on this channel and you'd like to help support it, the donation link, as always, is down in the description. Get your name on the end card for a month from the time of donating. Anyway, guys, till next time, see ya.